Day 6. VHS 2.
Sorry.
VHS 2. I'm joined once again by Pete. Will
Paul.
be... What?
Paul.
What did I say?
Pete. We went through this in the last one.
What is it?
Paul.
And I said...
Pete.
How's that different?
Just is.
Right.
This is what I want for the jingle on my podcast. It's going to be called John Bolton's podcast. Do that in falsetto. There's no you in Bolton, but I guess that doesn't matter if you're singing it. And I'm a writer. See if you can work that in some way. Basically, just make me sound awesome. Cheers.
VHS 2, which we watched in the daytime. Not need to mention that, but we did. Again, do you want to go through it episodically, or do you want to give it like an overview and then I don't know?
Well, overview wise, I guess it's much the same as the first one.
Yeah.
Structure wise,
Yeah.
I don't know if I missed again talk of. You were talking over the start.
I was talking.
A little bit, yeah, we're talking to the dog.
Oh well, sure.
But yeah,
I think
I imagine, yeah, the couple that were in the place.
I think the guy that we saw in the video on the laptop had gone missing, and his parents had hired them to find him. And the start of that was breaking into his dorm room or something.
So I didn't know if like they'd been hired to do what the guys in the first one were doing.
Basically, yeah. I didn't know because I read it on Wikipedia while we were watching it. So. Yeah. Alright, well that being the case then, unplug that. Tape 49 is apparently the frame narrative, which would be that bit when they go into the house and find the tapes and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But any thoughts on that? Didn't seem to be a lot of it.
There's not. Yeah, it wasn't
thoughts
really
on,
very
really.
much to. I guess because it was the same house, it didn't really sort of seem to be very much to glean from that. Yeah, it didn't sort of seem to. There didn't really sort of seem to be much of a. Kind of just felt like, yeah, let's get to the tapes. I don't know how much of that is marked by having seen the first one. I don't know how I'd have received that if I hadn't seen the first one. If I saw that one first, I don't know how well I'd have. I don't know if I'd have given a shit what was really happening.
No,
But I mean, if I'd have seen if I'd have seen that second one in a similar way to how I saw the first one, in that I didn't know what to expect at all. I didn't know that the first one was a load of things kind of put together, sort of thing.
yeah.
I don't know if I'd have sort of felt a bit lost, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting, kind of having like a different dynamic in that there's a couple rather than like a group of lardy men shouting about and smashing things up and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a different feel to that.
I don't know if I said it about the first one. Still don't know. It wouldn't have been better served just having the 4 or 5 films just play, almost as if we'd been presented with a compilation tape and not here they are.
Yeah.
Have a bit of static between them or something, and the tracking lines going up and down the screen, and move on to the next one. Because I don't really care, frankly.
No.
And short of being there to pad out the runtime, I don't really see that they serve any obvious narrative function. I guess they serve a function from the point of view of giving you a reason for these things to have been discovered, but otherwise not asked.
And I thought, yeah, we discussed the end at the end.
Probably, yeah. Phase 1 clinical trials was the first one. I think I said at the time that I'd remark on it when the time comes. The time has come. I thought the guy playing the lead in that was atrocious, and it ruined the entire thing. In addition to which, it
Acting?
was just was utterly unconvincing. I don't know, really. Just left me a bit cold, disinterested in the whole thing.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, the moment that the doctor guy said glitch, I kind of knew pretty much what to expect.
Didn't you say what ghosts?
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, you've ruined it for yourself, mate, and we've not actually started.
And I guess also just that whole premise of he's had it's fine for him to have a robotic eye, but then there's kind of this shoehorned thing because obviously it has to have been recorded for it to be in this film. So they go, I see, it's a robotic eye, but why is it being recorded? It felt like they had to, and it's this doctor sort of saying, they have to. They have to record it so they know whether it's worked. It's like, well, that doesn't.
Yeah.
No, that
there are
just
lots
shows
of
whether
ways
the
of
recording has
bench
worked.
testing video cameras and stuff without having to actually sit and watch footage they've
I
recorded.
mean, ask the guy that has had it implanted into his head whether he can see through it.
Yeah.
I thought that's the ideal way of knowing whether it's worked or
it
not.
did, yeah, a bit shoehorned. But
yeah.
again, definitely the weakest episode of the 4. Are there in that one?
Yeah, it felt shorter.
Yeah, I think because they were longer. A couple of them
Yeah,
felt longer. That
yeah,
one,
they did.
it was all right. There were bits of it that I liked, but again, it was a lot of something in front of me. Just a lot of that, and I think as we spoke about actually this afternoon, when you've had one, you're basically done. I don't need 10 or 15 of those. The first one won't make me jump. None of them will.
No.
And yeah, I don't know. I guess as I think we talked about, it's a modern-ish apartment. It's a super hot sci-fi-esque bionic eye. Can't relate to any of that. It's meaningless to me.
Yeah.
I'm having to suspend my disbelief a lot to care, and I didn't. And as I say, he couldn't act. That whole business of I don't
always really get
talking to himself for our benefit.
I don't quite get the whole thing of like this. Like he passes the girl in the waiting room, and she kind of stares at him, and she kind of rocks up at his house like hours later. So that just why what?
I don't know.
Because she can. I mean, like presumably, if she's had a cochlear implant and he's had an eye implant, they're not the only people in this. It's like she sort of spotted him and they always had an eye implant.
I know, and the business of that ghost that was her uncle, and the impression I got was that he'd abused her and stuff, and obviously then had died at some point.
Yeah.
And so she was like, just sleep with me, and that'll get rid of him.
Yeah.
I feel like more could have been done with that.
Yeah.
That was more interesting as a concept than all the rest of it. So yeah, just a bit. Definitely the weakest. I felt of the 4. A ride in the park, the zombie one. I know you're not overly taken with zombie things. I don't think. Are you? Maybe you are.
Oh, I don't particularly. It's just kind of it is just something that you see a lot of.
It's definitely doing the rounds, isn't it? The old zombies.
Yeah. I guess I sort of felt that it didn't do anything. It didn't push any boundaries whatsoever in terms of showing something that we haven't seen before. There's some people get got by some zombies and then become zombies themselves. It was fairly run of the mill.
Yeah.
And there was a bit where there's like a group of zombies following them, and it's the first time you sort of saw there was like a big guy and he had like entrails hanging out of his chest, and that looked very, very, very fake compared to all the other special effects in the film, which in terms of gore and stuff like that are pretty good.
Yeah.
It just looked like a guy with some red tubes hanging out of his shirt. It's
Kind of just shot you.
Oh yeah,
That's what it was.
but yeah, no, it was sort of drama-wise, it was good.
Yeah, I remember thinking when I first watched it, interesting to see a zombie attack, kind of from the point of view of the zombie. But I found I was a lot less interested by that this time. I don't know that the effect was maybe as striking as I first thought.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that. It was interesting sort of seeing that view. It felt like with that one and the first one, it kind of felt a little bit as though when they started off creating this film, they basically sort of brainstormed different ways in which you can have a camera.
Yeah, yeah.
And they came up with Psycho helmet.
Yeah.
And
Could do a
guy with an eye.
cyclist. Could be cycling somewhere and something could happen. Right, we'll put that one in. Yeah, I've got it. Yeah.
Well, not that there's nothing wrong with doing that. It just kind of it sort of felt like they had these two novel ways of people having a camera on them, which are all perfectly viable in essence.
And again, it addresses the issue of why are you videoing all of this? Because obviously, I guess if he'd been carrying a camera and had been zombified,
I quite
you would
like
have dumped
that.
it,
Nice,
and that would have been the end of that. So
yeah, I quite like because obviously it's attached to him. He gets got, and that's I do quite like that.
I quite like also that he got shot and then run over and stuff and stabbed, but he kept getting back up because that was alright. Although he took a lot longer to turn than the woman that he stopped to help at the beginning.
Yeah,
she turned more or less immediately after vomiting, whereas he, turned at the point at which it was useful to the story, and that bothered me.
Yeah,
because I remember thinking, "Oh, he's coughing up blood." Even though I've seen it, he'll be turning in a second. Oh no, still no. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. Now that these other people have joined us. Yeah. All right, that's that. Mike, the name of the cyclist, in case you're curious. Safe Haven, the longest one, I think. It certainly felt the longest. The weird, culty, demony, snotty, cameraman-y one.
Yeah. That's a funny one, that, wasn't it?
I'm not sure it knew what it was.
No.
It felt like,
there was a lot
let's
of
have a
things
cult.
going on.
Let's have, the kind of the incesty thing of cults. Let's also have, devil worshipy, demony stuff.
It felt.
Let's also have a cult where they all kill themselves at the behest of the leader, and throw all of that in.
And it also felt like it was a little bit. I felt a little bit uncomfortable from a racial point of view because they're kind of
Indonesian.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of felt like a bit of a funny one, sort of culturally that they were kind of. I guess sort of interesting sort of fact is sort of in this building where there's lots and lots of very different rooms and lots of sort of space for different things to happen in. I guess I felt a little bit as though it was the sort of the idea of someone going into one of these places in order to conduct an interview kind of sounded a little bit not all that believable. Yeah, I'm not really sure what else there is to say about it. Really, just sort of it sort of felt kind of felt like it was obvious that that either the people were going to start turning on them or that there's you're kind of waiting for things. So this is what there were five in the first one, and then we'd seen another 2. So we've seen 7 of these now, but by this point, so you are sort of trained into that thing. What's going to be,
which I sort of found with Black Mirror, and when we watched Black Mirror, I had to really focus on not trying to guess what the surprise was going to be.
Yeah.
Because I remember when a friend of mine went to see Sixth Sense and the other ones, that after seeing the first one of whichever one it was that was first, spent the entire film trying to guess what it was going to be. Oh, what's the surprise going to be? Oh, it transpires that he can't be harmed. Oh, he must therefore have an ultimate opposite that can be harmed easily and therefore is a mental genius rather than physically strong. And I think that's the thing, is you're watching it going, well, what's it going to be? Is it like an incest thing? Is that what it's going to be about? Or is it like a child abuse type thing? Or is it going to turn out that they all killed themselves? Oh, is it like a devil worship thing?
Oh, it's all of that.
And then, let's try all of it and see what happens. Hope for the best.
Goat bloke turns up at the end.
Yeah, was that like
that one, wasn't it?
Satanic-y Goat of Mendes type thing? Or just
so.
your average horned devil? Didn't say horny, so I thought you'd snigger.
No.
Look how that panned out.
But and that's I guess the idea of this thing taking place in a sort of cult is fine, but then I guess it kind of a cult is scary enough, and you've got basically a sort of army of people who have been brainwashed that are prepared to kill and prepared to kill themselves in a very unsettling devotion to their cause, and that's kind of scary enough without that then having, I guess, with this beast devilly beast turning up at the end, it kind of gave it a foundation of credibility. So it wasn't just a sort of load of heads living together in a compound. They're always in a compound, aren't they?
They do like the compounds. Oh, so they came back at the end as zombies. So throw that into the mix as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've forgotten about that. Because bits of it were really good, like the bit where they're all stood in like different angles, spaced out in that room with the guns to their head. That was really good.
Yeah. I guess it's interesting how like something like the fact that they all started coming back as zombies had escaped our memory of. It's kind of like does feel as though there's just too many layers going on
for a 15-minute, whatever it was, segment of a film.
Yeah. In
which it's just one little portion. But it was good. There were bits I liked it.
And then at the end of that, when we then went back to the couple, I suddenly became aware of the fact that there seemed to be like, and it might have been the case in the first one, I don't really remember, but there seemed to be just too many cameras viewing them. And I don't know if that's the idea is that there are several cameras in this room because this weird person's really into his VHS tapes. Yeah, there's sort of lots of sort of camera. So there's obviously the camera that they took with them, sort of GoPro-y thing, if I remember right.
Yeah, I found GoPros to be quite prevalent in this one. I wonder if they got some sort of sponsorship deal or something.
So what's next?
The last one was it the last one? Slumber Party Alien Abduction.
Yeah.
Tells you what you need to know, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I found it quite confused.
Yeah.
I got what was going on because it's aliens and that, but I couldn't really make out any of what was going on.
No,
for most of it. Not
flashy.
Even just the bits where the aliens kicked in. Even when they were just kind of doing the little pranky stuff, found it quite kind of disorientating and actually quite hard to follow.
Yeah, I mean that's the danger with using techniques like flashing lights, which are basically to disorientate you, aren't they? You're only getting glimpses of what's happening, but you kind of need to be able to see enough of it to be able to glean what's happening.
Did you catch the alien under the water quite early on in it when they were they were squirting the people on the pier?
Oh yeah.
That was good. Yeah. Stuff like that's good.
Yeah.
And I guess you don't see aliens in things very much now in that context, so that was different.
But
men in suits.
Men in suits, basically dressed to look like the Roswell alien. Which is, what can you do with aliens that some people believe they exist, some people don't believe they exist. Nobody really knows what. Well, I mean, you've got a whole universe out there. Other beings on other planets aren't going to have the same. They're not going to have the same conditions as we have on this planet, so that they're not going to look like us necessarily. But they kind of, there is a tendency for aliens to sort of look enough like us that they can be portrayed by a human in a
easily.
suit.
Yeah. You saw a lot more of them than I remember.
Yeah.
My recollection of it was that they're quite shadowy and like, what was that? Was that something then? Which Signs, speaking of other films that are on the same thing as Sixth Sense, did quite well, I felt. There was a lot more of it than I actually remember, and I found that a bit bothersome.
Yeah.
Found it a bit, well, like we said, men in suits. The more you show me the monster, if the monster's not going to scare me, you're just diluting anything you've set up to that point more and more and more.
What was a film with the sort of weird upturned pebble thing and the things that basically look like a sort of hand?
Arrival?
Arrival,
is that the Arrival?
Yeah, we can cut that.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we watched Arrival, that was.
Let's double check that. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, Arrival was their sort of depiction of firstly the actual alien itself, but then also the alien culture that's kind of so far removed from our own that it doesn't. It's very hard to find those cultural reference points that you can actually be able to find that common ground in order to communicate, in order to be able to recognise stuff. So yeah, it's very difficult to portray something like that. I mean, you couldn't do something like that in a 10-minute short.
No.
But it was very men in suits. Yeah, I guess it's just that sort of the mixture of the sort of chaos of what's going on with the flashing lights and so on. So it kind of felt like it's just sort of you just kind of let it happen. Yeah, but it actually sort of going back to what's the one of them where they end up underwater in the pool. Was that was the first one, wasn't it? It was the one with the eye.
Yeah.
They sort of end up underwater and because it's just his sort of eye view sort of thing. So it's just like, you know, all you're sort of seeing is like sort of flashes of things happen, and that just for a few seconds is fine, but like when there's 10 minutes of it.
Yeah, there was a lot of it. But again, it was good to see aliens or something a bit different.
Yeah. And then so it sort of ended. Yeah, it ended with. Oh yes, that's something that I do feel needs commenting on.
Oh, go on then.
Dog with camera on, or more specifically, camera with a little bit of fur here.
Yeah.
That moves not like a dog in any way.
Yeah.
That was a shame.
Yeah.
I mean, like this like it's sort of. I think we've been sort of quite negative about this one. It was like the
yeah.
Compared to how enthused we were by the first one, it sounds like we've been really negative. But I did enjoy it, but that wasn't good.
No, and also, that's like the third or fourth time in these films that something has fallen that's had a camera on it and has landed in such a way that the camera is pointed at it.
Yeah.
I reckon if I put a camera on a dog, if I took 50 dogs and put cameras on their heads and threw 50 dogs off a car park, maybe 2 would land with the camera facing the head. All the rest of the cameras were over the bloody place.
I mean, even if you got 2, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'd imagine like the camera would break or the camera would just roll away from the head.
But
it's a small point, but
if it's a GoPro, you know, then
yeah,
maybe it's an advert for the technology.
Yeah. I mean, the more you say things like that, the more I think this was just a big GoPro advert. I'm sure the words GoPro were used at some point in the film as a little reference. All right, favourite of the 4?
I don't know, really. I guess like it probably would have to be the second one. To be honest, I did enjoy the first one, not with like the guy's acting notwithstanding. Yeah, I guess it would be the second one, really.
Is that the zombie one?
Yeah.
I think I'm leaning towards the zombie. Originally, it would have been the alien one, but having watched it again, I don't know that it was as good as I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, zombie.
And then the ones with the sort of connecting bits were kind of neither here nor there, really. And while we're talking about the ending, which we weren't.
No.
But I did want to say, the guy blows his brains out on camera, and he's still alive, sort of with his face blown open.
Yeah.
And the very, very, very unconvincing tongue.
That was awful.
I think the same bloke did the entrails in the zombie
Probably,
one, maybe.
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe they have to do it on the cheap.
Maybe.
I'll do your entrails for you. They also do tongues.
$5.
Yeah. Presumably agreement that the first one's better.
Yeah.
Film-wise. Again,
Yeah.
I think the bit that holds it all together is neither here nor there. I was just not interested in either.
I guess it's like, it's difficult, isn't it? Because I mean, like I think they carry on the work of the first one, but it kind of felt like they were trying to recreate it. And I guess like with the first one as well, like it did feel like there was more supernatural, whereas I don't really class zombies as supernatural. I think
No, I don't actually. No.
It kind of felt like there wasn't really much supernatural. You had aliens, the sort of glitch thing, which was too obvious because we'd already seen glitch in the first one.
Yeah.
Possibly if you saw the 2 back to back, it might sort of maybe if you sort of separate them out into one.
Possibly.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see what a person would make of it if you just showed them all of the little bits of film, just one after the next.
Yeah.
With none of the filler that plays between them.
It is interesting sort of comparing, thinking about something like this with having seen a series like Black Mirror, now available on Netflix.
Are you getting paid for that?
A modest.
Right. Can I get on that action?
No.
Right. Action being Just one of the many genres available on Netflix, HBO Bets, and Amazon Video.
Come back soon for the next episode of John Bolton's podcast. What horror movie will he be reviewing? Who knows? Who cares?